Have you ever looked at your budget and thought, I'm doing everything right, so why am I still broke? You've written things down, tracked what you spend, and tried to follow a plan. You tell your money where to go. But somehow, at the end of every month, your wallet is empty, your bank account is low, and it feels like you're stuck in the same place. It's frustrating. You start to wonder, what's the point of budgeting if it doesn't even work? The truth is, budgeting is important, but it's not the whole answer. Just because you have a budget doesn't mean you're going to build wealth. It doesn't mean you'll stop living paycheck to paycheck. That's because budgeting is only one piece of the money puzzle. A lot of people think if they just create a budget, everything else will fall into place. But in real life, things don't work that smoothly. One big reason people stay broke even with a budget is because they only focus on spending. They look at what to cut, what to limit, and how to survive, but they don't think about how to grow their money. You can only cut so much. At some point, you have to earn more. If you're working hard, but your income is too low, then your budget becomes more of a survival guide than a path to wealth. Cutting coffee won't save you if your rent takes half your paycheck. Another reason budgeting doesn't always work is because of unexpected expenses. Life is full of surprises. You might get a flat tire, have to pay a hospital bill, or travel for a family emergency. If your budget doesn't include room for these surprises, you'll end up using credit cards or dipping into savings. That starts a cycle where you're always trying to catch up. Many budgets are too tight. There's no breathing room, so when something unexpected happens, it ruins everything. Another problem is debt. If you're sending hundreds of dollars every month to credit cards, car loans, or student loans, it can feel like your money disappears the moment you get paid. Even with a budget, debt can hold you back. The interest adds up, and instead of your money working for you, it's working for the bank. That makes it hard to move forward. Debt drains your income and steals your future. You might be trying your best, but when half your money goes to debt, it's easy to feel stuck. Then there's something called lifestyle creep. This happens when your income goes up, but your spending goes up too. Maybe you get a raise or a new job. At first you feel excited, but soon you start eating out more, buying nicer things, upgrading your phone or your clothes. Before you know it, the extra money is gone. Your lifestyle grew, but your savings didn't. That's why some people make $3,000 a month and save more than someone making $7,000. It's not just about how much you earn, it's about what you do with it. Another thing that stops people is the way they think about money. If you believe you're bad with money, or that money is stressful, or that rich people are greedy, those thoughts can affect how you handle money without even realizing it. Your mindset matters. If you see budgeting as a punishment, something that makes life harder, you'll avoid it or break the rules. You'll spend out of frustration or boredom. You'll tell yourself just this once too many times. And when you mess up, you'll feel guilty, which makes you want to give up. But budgeting should not feel like a punishment. It should feel like a plan to help you live better. Another thing people struggle with is being too strict. They make budgets that are unrealistic. They try to go from spending a lot to spending almost nothing overnight. They cut out all fun, all comfort, and all flexibility. That kind of budget might work for a few days, maybe even a week, but it doesn't last. People are not robots. You need space to enjoy life. If your budget doesn't include anything fun, you'll start to resent it. Then you'll stop following it. That's not failure. That's human nature. And let's be honest, sometimes people just don't earn enough to begin with. You might be doing everything right, and you're still struggling because your paycheck simply isn't big enough to cover your basic needs. It's hard to save when your rent, food, and bills take everything you have. In that case, budgeting isn't the problem, it's income. And we have to be real about that. You can't budget your way out of poverty. You need better income, better opportunities, and better systems. Also, many people make a budget but never look at it again. They create it once, then forget about it. But a budget is not magic. It doesn't work unless you follow it and review it often. It's like having a map but never checking where you are. You can still get lost. You have to track your spending, adjust your plan, and check in every week or two. That's how you stay on course. Another reason people stay broke is that their budget doesn't match their real life. They write down numbers that look good on paper, but they don't match how they actually spend money. For example, they write $200 for groceries, but usually spend $350. Or they forget to include things like birthdays, parking, or school supplies. When the real costs show up, the budget falls apart. That's not a math mistake. It's a planning mistake. You have to be honest about your spending. Only then can you build a budget that works. Sometimes, people also budget for their bills, but not for their goals. They plan for rent, food, gas, and Netflix, but they forget to budget for savings, investing, or debt payoff. If your budget doesn't include your goals, you're just maintaining, not growing. A good budget helps you move forward. That means you need to treat savings like a bill. Pay yourself first, before you spend on anything else. Even if you can only save a little, it builds the habit. And habits matter more than big numbers. Saving $10 a week might not sound like much, but it's a start. Over time, it adds up. It builds confidence, and it shows your brain that you're serious. One of the biggest changes you can make is shifting your focus from cutting costs to growing income. Yes, cut the waste, but also look for ways to earn more. A side hustle, a better job, learning a skill, or selling stuff you don't use. Income growth changes the game. And don't forget, budgeting doesn't have to be perfect. You will mess up sometimes. That doesn't mean you failed. Just like you don't stop brushing your teeth because you missed one night. You don't quit budgeting because you overspent once. You just start again. You learn. You adjust. That's how real progress works. Budgeting is a tool. It's not a punishment. It's not a fix-all. And it's not the final goal. The goal is freedom. The goal is peace. The goal is to stop stressing every time you check your bank balance. So if you've been budgeting and still feel stuck, now you know why. It's not because you're bad with money. It's not because you're lazy. It's because budgeting alone isn't enough. You need a plan that fits your real life, not a perfect spreadsheet. You need goals that keep you motivated. You need income that grows. You need habits that stick. And you need to give yourself grace when things don't go perfectly, because nobody's perfect with money. But you don't have to be perfect to make progress. You just have to keep going. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Budgeting works differently for everyone, because everyone's life is different. What works for your friend might not work for you. What worked for you last year might not work for you now. Your budget needs to evolve with your life. If you got married, had a baby, changed jobs, or moved to a new city, your old budget might not fit anymore. That's okay. That's normal. You're not starting over. You're updating. Think of it like updating your phone. You don't throw the phone away. You just get the latest version that works better. Many people also make the mistake of trying to copy someone else's budget exactly. They see someone online saving 50% of their income and think they should do the same. But that person might have no debt, live with roommates, or have a much higher income. Their situation is different from yours. Your budget should be based on your income, your expenses, your debt, and your goals, not someone else's. Another issue is that people often underestimate how long it takes to see results. They expect their financial situation to change in a month or two. But real change takes time. If you've been living paycheck to paycheck for years, it might take months or even a year to break that cycle. That's not failure. That's realistic. Building wealth is like planting a tree. You plant the seed, water it, and wait. You don't see growth right away, but it's happening underground. The roots are growing stronger. Then one day, you see the first small leaf. Then more leaves. Then branches. Then shade. But it takes time. Your finances work the same way. Every dollar you save, every debt payment you make, every small improvement you make, it's all building something bigger. You just can't see it yet. Sometimes people also focus too much on the wrong things. They'll spend hours trying to save $20 on groceries, but won't negotiate a $200 car payment. They'll skip dinner out to save $30, but won't ask for a raise that could get them $300 more per month. It's good to save money where you can, but don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Look for the big wins first. Can you refinance your mortgage? Can you switch to a cheaper phone plan? Can you move to a cheaper apartment? Can you sell a car you don't really need? These moves can save you hundreds or thousands of dollars. That's worth more than clipping coupons. Another thing that trips people up is seasonal spending. They make a budget in January and forget that December has Christmas. They don't plan for summer vacations, back-to-school shopping, or holiday gifts. Then when these expenses come up, they act surprised and blow their budget. But these aren't really unexpected expenses. They happen every year. You just forgot to plan for them. A good budget includes these seasonal costs. You can save a little bit each month so you're ready when these expenses come up. If Christmas costs you $800 every year, save $70 every month. Then when December comes, you're ready. No stress, no credit cards, no budget disaster. People also struggle with what I call budget fatigue. They start strong, track everything, and follow their plan perfectly. But after a few months, they get tired of being so careful. They want to relax. They want to spend freely again. So they stop tracking, stop planning, and go back to their old habits. This is normal. It happens to almost everyone. The key is to recognize it and have a plan for it. Maybe you take a week off from tracking, but still follow your basic budget. Maybe you give yourself a small fun money increase for a month. The point is not to abandon everything just because you're tired. Take a break if you need to, but don't quit. Another problem is that people often set goals that are too vague. They say, I want to save money, or I want to pay off debt. But vague goals don't motivate you. They don't give you a clear target to aim for. Instead, be specific. Say, I want to save $2,000 for an emergency fund by the end of the year. Or, I want to pay off my $5,000 credit card debt in 18 months. Specific goals give you something to work toward. They help you make better decisions. When you're tempted to buy something you don't need, you can ask yourself, is this worth delaying my goal? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but at least you're making a conscious choice. Also, celebrate your wins. When you pay off a credit card, treat yourself within reason. When you save your first $1,000, acknowledge it. When you stick to your budget for 3 months straight, be proud of that. These celebrations keep you motivated. They remind you that you're making progress. They make the journey more enjoyable. Without celebrations, budgeting can feel like a never-ending grind. But it doesn't have to be. You can have fun while building wealth. You can enjoy life while being responsible. You can spend money on things you love while still saving for the future. It's all about balance. Here's something else to consider. Your budget should include money for mistakes. I know that sounds weird, but hear me out. You're going to overspend sometimes. You're going to buy something you shouldn't. You're going to make financial mistakes. That's part of being human. If your budget is so tight that one mistake ruins everything, it's not realistic. Build in a small buffer. Maybe it's $50 or $100 per month. This isn't permission to be reckless. It's insurance against being human. When you do make a mistake, you won't have to choose between using a credit card or breaking your budget. You'll have a small cushion to absorb the impact. Then you can learn from the mistake and move on. This keeps you from spiraling into guilt and giving up. Many people also don't realize that budgeting gets easier over time. The first few months are hard because you're learning. You're building new habits. You're figuring out what works and what doesn't. But after a while, it becomes automatic. You know how much you can spend without checking your phone. You know which expenses are worth it and which aren't. You develop what I call money intuition, a sense of what you can and can't afford. This makes everything smoother. You spend less time worrying about money and more time enjoying life. And that's really the point, isn't it? Money isn't the goal. Freedom is the goal. Peace is the goal. The ability to sleep well at night, knowing you're okay, that's the goal. Everything else is just a tool to get you there. If this video helped you understand why budgeting hasn't worked in the past, do me a favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Let me know the biggest challenge you've faced with budgeting. Let's talk about it, learn together, and keep moving toward financial freedom, one simple step at a time.